Is The Crow finally out of developmental hell? Will we finally get a proper Crow reboot? As a huge fan of the original Crow, what do I think about it? Well, let's talk about it. It's your mad real director Chris Moss, and I had to hop on this piece of movie news because I'm a huge fan of the original Crow. And Bloody Disgusting reported that the Crow reboot is now back in development for like the 100th time. Because this reboot has been in and out of development for the past decade, the past 10 years. So, what? A number of actors were slated to play Eric Draven, aka the Crow. Bradley Cooper at one point, and when they first announced it, he was like one of the first early actors that whose name was thrown around. Mark Wahlberg, which I'm glad that didn't pan out because I can't picture Mark Wahlberg as a gothic dude. Yeah, Jack Houston, Luke Evans, which I remember when that was announced and I was actually excited. I like Luke Evans. I like Bradley Cooper too, but he just doesn't scream gothic to me. I think Luke Evans would have been a good match. And then he left the development. He left the movie. Um, the latest one, the most recent, was Jason Momoa, which I'm also a huge Jason Momoa fan. And so I was down for it, and they actually came really close to starting production on that. But then once again, the plug got pulled and the Crow reboot hit the shelves and entered developmental hell. So, also, I'm kind of glad that the Jason Momoa one didn't get made because it would have been not because of Jason Momoa, but because the guy who directed The Nun from the Conjuring universe, which was hot trash, Corin Hardy. I mean, I don't know him from much else. I only know him from The Nun, and The Nun was hot trash. And once again, I love the original Crow. Like that, the original Crow is on my list of favorite movies of all time. It's on that list. Lion King is also on that list, and they fucked up the. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that again, but I'm kind of glad Corin Hardy didn't make The Crow. Like, not dissing him, not saying he's a bad director. It's just I only know him from The Nun, and The Nun was nowhere near good. It had potential. There was a couple scenes that was like, oh, okay, that's dope, but overall, it just wasn't like as a movie, it wasn't good. So I'm kind of happy that Corin didn't get his hands on The Crow because I didn't want what happened with The Lion King to happen with The Crow. It's just anyway. So apparently, it's back in development, which um I don't know how because Jason Momoa has left, like he's out of the project. Corin Hardy, which who was supposed to direct it, he's out. Sony, who was going to distribute the film, is likely out. I think they are out. I don't know if it's confirmed if they're out or not, but at this point, I think the writing's on the wall. If they're not out, then they're going to be out. But Davis Films, Highland Film Group, and Electric Shadow, um, who previously had a deal in place to finance and distribute the film, they're still on board. But like I said, Corin Hardy, who was slated to direct it, is out. Jason Momoa, who was going to star in it, is out. And Sony, who was going to distribute it, is, if they're not out, they're more than likely out. That's so I don't even know how this is back in development. What I could see them doing is probably straight to Netflix, which I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I feel like if you're gonna do a Crow reboot, it has to go to theaters. Like you have to, like, there's nothing wrong with straight to Netflix, but I mean, Irishman was a good movie and it had a limited theater run and went straight to Netflix. But I don't know, man. Like, maybe it's a little biased on my end, but as a huge fan of the Brandon Lee Crow, I feel like if you're gonna do the reboot, you got to put it in theaters. It has to be done right. At this point, if Sony is out, either go somewhere else, which is probably what they're doing. But oh, I would love to see Blumhouse. I'll say Blumhouse. I would love to see Blumhouse. Bloom? No, it's Bloom. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I would like to see Blumhouse. God, B House. I'm gonna call it B House. I would love to see B House Productions take over the Crow. Actually, well, not take over, but distribute the Crow. Um, Lionsgate is another studio that comes off the top of my head. So Lionsgate, B House, I think would be perfect homes, but that's if they're even interested or if they can strike a deal with these other guys, other guys to I don't know. I think I'm just getting ahead of myself. Look, Sony's out. They have to strike a deal with somebody to distribute it. So B House, I would be down for B House distributing it. I would be down for Lionsgate distributing it. I just want a proper Crow reboot done right and just, you know. But the fact that they lost a director and an actor, though, I really don't think that's back in development because now you got to find a director. Now you got to find an actor to star in it, even though y'all done been through like 5 or 6 of them. And now you have to find a distributor. So I don't know. I just feel like this doesn't necessarily mean that it's back in development. If anything, it's still in developmental hell. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I just because to me it's like, what is the issue? Because I don't know the issue of why. What are the issues surrounding this movie? Like, is it the script? Is it the writers are not agreeing on what to do or how to portray this movie? I don't know. But for whatever reason, actors hop on board, then they leave, and then another director was supposed to direct, then he left. It's kind of like the Flash movie, developmental hell. But also the movie was supposed to come out if it would have entered production, which, like I said, it was very close to doing with Jason Momoa. The release date was supposed to be October 2019. So it will probably, what, if the reboot actually would have came out and would have been good, it would have came out probably, it would be like on its way to home media, but whatever. It was really close to being made, but like I said, I'm glad it wasn't because I'm not a big fan of the Nun, and I kind of don't want to see his version of the Crow. Not to be messed up, once again, not to diss him, but I just, based off your previous work, dude, I'm just glad it didn't happen. And you know, the picture right here is fan art. If you know the artist, put down the name of the artist who made the picture I have up here. Put his name, him or her, their name down in the comments below so they can get their credit. But yeah, man, it was supposed to come out October 2019, and then once again the plug was pulled. But I do have something struck me. Like I got it, a light bulb went off, which this is probably not going to happen. But I would love to see, in a perfect world with, you know, Sony being out and, you know, Jason Momoa gone and the director gone. Hell, I would say even let Warner Brothers distribute The Crow if you can strike a deal with them. But I would love to see Todd Phillips and Phoenix, because I always get his first name wrong, so I just call him Mr. Phoenix. I would love to see Phoenix and Todd Phillips take on a Crow reboot because they did an amazing job on a Joker. Like a light bulb, like once I was reading about Jason Momoa leaving, and don't get me wrong, like I love Jason Momoa as an actor, but I felt like he was too brutish, too big, you know, to be like, to play this gothic dude for, I mean, I guess if they went about it a certain, like, I don't know. I feel like Jason Momoa had the face for it, but it would have, like, I feel like he's too big. which would have made him more intimidating for sure. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he was a good fit, but at the same time, I'm like, he's a little big. But then, like I said, a light bulb went off in my head, and it's like, yo, Phoenix. Phoenix would be a perfect fit, in my opinion, to play Eric Draven. He has the frame, he has the body for it. You know, we see him. I mean, look at this pictures here. Like, that's pretty damn close to the Crow. You know, the Crow's makeup. You know, minus the lipstick smile and the red nose, but and the eyebrows. But like, dude, Phoenix would be dope as an Eric Draven. Like, I feel like he can pull off that gothic, back from the dead, seeking revenge character. You know, I would rather take Phillips and Phoenix teaming up to do a Crow reboot. I would take that over a potential Joker sequel, because I feel like Joker was good as a one-off movie. I don't really need a sequel. I kind of want a sequel only because the first one was so good. But with sequels, there's a possibility it's not going to be as great as the first one was. But regardless of which, if they came to me and was like, yo, Chris, which would never happen, by the way. So Phillips has 2 movies that he's thinking about working on next. He has the Joker sequel, and he has the Crow reboot, which, by the way, if he does the Crow reboot, they're going to start casting and go into production within the next 8 months. Okay. Oh, which, by the way, Phoenix said he's also interested in the Crow reboot, but he's also interested in the Joker sequel. But they want to see what your decision is. I don't know. This is like some fantasy world. I would pick the Crow. I would say tell them to do the Crow. All right. They gave us a Joker movie, an amazing Joker movie. I feel like a sequel would just kind of give us something we've already seen a little bit. Even if they do, it's just an add-on to a story they already started, is basically. But with the Crow, it would be, we would get Phoenix back in makeup. You know, it's not a sequel. It's its own movie. And he's, like I said, he's playing a gothic guy back from the dead, seeking revenge. And with how serious Phoenix takes his roles, like, it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? And you can set the Crow back in a, like Joker was, I want to say maybe what, the joke was Joker in the 60s? I believe it was the 60s, something like that. You could set the Crow in the 70s, 60s, 80s. Yeah, you can set the Crow in the 80s. I kind of like that better. Or the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And Phillips, I feel like Phillips and Phoenix it would be cinema gold. To me, that would be, oh my gosh. The Crow would go for Best Picture at the Oscars. It would be a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars. I guarantee it. But once again, that's in a perfect world. But I don't know. That idea popped into my head like, yo, Phoenix would be an amazing Crow. Like, we get him in makeup again. He's not doing it because he's not a sequel guy. So he's not doing a sequel. We get him back in makeup. We get him teamed up with Todd Phillips again. Oh my God. Like that. Really? And he takes his roles very serious. And the Crow is the opposite of the Joker. So I feel like that would be a great switch up for Phoenix. Like, Joker was, he's the homicidal maniac clown prince of crime, ha ha ha, laughing. Whereas Eric Draven is a more, I never read the comic books, by the way, so I'm going off of the Brandon Lee version. Where Eric Draven was more of he was a musician. He was, he had a fiance. So he was pretty much a more grounded type of guy. And Phoenix played Johnny Cash in the Johnny Cash. I can't remember the name of that movie, but he played Johnny Cash and he sang. From what I read, Phoenix sang all of the songs in that movie himself. So he's a musician. He can do the musician part. You know what I'm saying? And dude, it would be perfect. Probably too perfect. But I would love to see and Phoenix and Phillips take on the Crow reboot. That to me is, I wish I could make that happen. But let me know what you guys think about that idea of Phoenix and Phillips taking on like a Crow reboot, which by the way is not movie news. It's not even a rumor. That's just me fantasizing and thinking about. It was just an idea that random idea that popped into my head. So I don't want you guys to tweet like, oh, Phillips and Phoenix might do Crow reboot or in talks to do Crow reboot or whatever. But no, that's just me saying in a perfect world, I would love to see what they do with the Crow reboot, because they did an amazing job on a Joker. So I would love to see what they can do with a Crow reboot. But also, I don't think the Crow's being made anytime soon. I know Bloody Disgusting said it's back in development. No, it's not. With what I'm reading, it's not. If the director and the lead actor and the distributing company is gone, that's not back in development. It seems to me like they're starting back from ground zero. Now they gotta find a distributor, strike a deal, then they gotta find a director, then they gotta find actors. It's not coming no time soon, which I'm fine with, because hey, I still got the Brandon Lee version movie to watch, which I've watched hundreds of times. And I haven't watched the sequels. I'm not going to watch the sequels to The Crow because I feel like those are cheesy and corny. But anyway, let me know down in the comments below what you think of my Phoenix and Phillips idea of them doing a Crow reboot. Fingers crossed. Like, how funny would it be if we saw next year in the news like Phillips in talks to direct Crow reboot? That would be so dope. You heard it here first if it does happen. By the way, tweet them and let them know. That would be a dope idea. At least I think so. But anyway, let me know down in the comments below what you think about my Phoenix and Phillips idea. Do you think they would would you prefer them to do a Crow reboot over a Joker sequel? Or you're like, nah, I would rather see a Joker sequel with them too. Let me know in the comments below. Send in your movie questions. You can comment your movie questions down in the comments below, or you can DM them on my Instagram page. Yeah, and let me know, do you like The Crow? Let me know down in the comments below too. Let me know. I never watched the sequels, by the way. If you've seen the sequels, let me know if the sequels are okay, pretty good, or they're just straight trash. Don't even think about watching them, because I honestly, I don't have any plans to watch the sequels anytime soon, because I feel like they are trash. Just from the front cover. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I'm not. I mean, Brandon Lee did such an amazing job. It's anyway. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.